Just come into the area that one of the tenants has installed quite a substantial canopy to protect the top level as in the entrance here. This will be a prime item that the landlord is going to ask for under his reinstatement clause. It's a phenomenal cost. We're probably looking at 30 to 50k or in that region. Heavy steel work. Neil, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, from a letting point of view, as we were just discussing earlier, this has been put in for a reason. It's going to continue as an industrial use, as a distribution centre. So the new tenant will utilise this. As we see with a lot of the dilapidations claim, reinstatement does form a huge part of the claim. And there usually are chunky costs in there. And from a valuation point of view, those reinstatement items add to the lettability, they add to the value of the building. So this is a prime example, like you say, Gary, it's going to be a huge cost to remove this canopy, but it's going to be utilised. Nobody entering this site will ask the landlord, I want that removed before we take occupation. They will find a way of utilising this, and there's no point in incurring that cost and doing the work. So it actually possibly adds to value rather than detracts from value. We see that with a lot of the reinstatement items. They actually improve the building. They've been put in there by the tenant to improve the building.
Definitely, but from a building surveyor's perspective, we've just got to accept that. It's a reinstatement.
It's a valid reinstatement obligation.
And we've got to have the valuation input into that.
So from your point of view, it's a valid claim, but from our point of view, looking at it from a valuation point of view, we're probably of the view that in this particular item, it's not a valid one to reinstate. It doesn't need to be done to relet.
I suppose what we all find, building surveyors and valuers alike, is when we're working for landlords, you want to get the claim sorted as fast as you can, because when a building like this falls vacant, you've got 6 months until void rates kicks in, and the void rates bill is massive, and security issues and all of that, hence the dogs barking just now. But you want to get on and get the project done, so therefore you want to settle the delapse claim before you do it. Whereas from a tenant's perspective, time's on your side. You want to hold out, because what the landlord's saying they're going to do, and you're saying they probably won't, time works in your favour as tenant if you can draw out the negotiations. And then the project is done and the property is re-let. And the truth kind of unfolds for itself. Would you say?
I would say so, yeah. And another point on the reinstatement, obviously, viewed in reverse from a valuation point of view, if this item is not in repair, then it probably makes sense to remove it. So he's looking from a different angle. If the roof sheets were completely had it and you needed to spend more than 30-40 grand to put it back into repair, it doesn't make any sense to retain. It makes sense to then remove it. So as long as it's in good working order, the item that's been installed.
The tenant's got to accept if we're going to try and use this as a defence, we've got to leave it in
good repair.
If you leave it in repair. On a slightly connected item, chaps, we covered dock levelers earlier on. I wanted to mention about level access doors. Obviously, a lot of big sheds have a mix of dock levelers and level access doors. So a common thing we find is obviously the level access doors have been knocked about as well. So you've got to recognise that it's a breach, you've got to price its remedy. But what we would say from a valuer's perspective is, more often than not, the logistics and big box market has moved on so much in recent years that when these properties are vacated and tenants are moving to brand new units, these buildings are effectively stripped and made like brand new units. So that doesn't just mean doing all the repairs, it means changing everything to fit with modern expectations and requirements. So level access doors are generally wider and taller now than they were even 5 years ago, let alone 10, 15 years ago. So the fact that it's a bit knocked about doesn't matter, because in reality, you're taking it out and you're putting in bigger ones where they are.